Hello everyone, I'm Brandon Ferguson. I'm going to talk to you guys about the topic concerning the salary gap between administrators and faculty in the CSU system. So over the past decade, the CSU system has had huge increases in tuition rates since the 60s. It's gone from like hundreds of dollars to on the order of $6,000 to $7,000 on average. And as these tuition rates and all these rates and all the effects on students have increased, we've noticed kind of a trend that the faculty income rates have remained rather flat, while administrator rates have increased substantially. So here's one of many statistics provided by the California Faculty Association, who've done a study between 2004 and 2014 about all this stuff. So from 2004 to 2014, the CSU the administrator salaries grew by 24%, while faculty salaries only grew by 10% in that 10-year period. So my main claim is that the widening income gap between CSU administrators and faculty is negatively impacting the professors and faculty's ability to perform their jobs well and teach students. So my claims concerning this is that, during economic pitfalls, like the faculty are not as capable of, so the faculty positions lost far more income compared to administrator positions. Number two, faculty aren't being hired fast enough to be able to compensate for the amount of students that are being introduced into the schools and enrolled. And number three, many faculty don't have enough money to sustain comfortable middle class lifestyles. And four, due to low income rates, faculty have been negatively impacted and are not able to do their job effectively. So just to get into, during the 2008 recession, what had happened was the faculty, according to these studies, their salaries had decreased. So from 2004, their salaries went up to 25%, and when 2008 hit, it went down to 8%. Now at the same time, the administrators' salaries only fell by about 3%, and then by 2014, it went up to 48% of what it was in 2004. In that time period, the faculty salaries only went back up to where they were back in 2007. So it kind of shows a little bit of discrepancy in terms of priority between those two things. So on to number two, the student enrollment rates have increased by almost 24% since 2004, and faculty rates, like the amount of faculty being hired into the job, has only gone up by 14%, whereas administrators have gone up by 19%. Now, a 5% difference between faculty and administrators may not seem like much, concerning expenditures, but it's in fact quite a lot. Because think, like, administrators are paid on average maybe $100,000 annually, whereas professors are maybe paid only $40,000 to $60,000. I'll get into more detail about that in a second. So many faculty don't have enough currently to sustain comfortable middle class lifestyles. So, like, wind back 20, 30 years, being a professor, it was kind of accepted you'd be able to earn enough money to sustain a comfortable middle class lifestyle. So according to the U.S. Census Bureau's 2013 American Community Survey, the middle class range for California is between about $40,000 and $120,000 a year. So by the year 2014, the average full-time salary for administrators was around $106,000, and the average full-time for faculty is around $64,000. Now, this may not seem concerning, but they use the term full-time. There's actually a lot of faculty that are on part-time and temporary contracts. In fact, 58% of them are. A lot of them typically teach at many different schools and are on part-time positions. So if you factor that in, a survey that was done showed that over 50% of faculty earned less than $40,000 a year, which is well below the middle class bracket. So here's a testimony from one teacher. So, I'm a single mother and receive no child support or alimony. The only way I'm able to survive in this career is and take care of my children is through the reliance on significant financial support from my retired parents. So, claim number 4. And due to their low incomes, this has a huge effect on their ability to perform their job and to be able to teach people. So there's the survey I quoted earlier. It was basically they have over 5,000 respondents, and there are about 18 to 20,000 faculty currently teaching in the schools right now. So anyway, so 43% of these respondents said they have an income that's so low that they wouldn't even be able to buy their own home for themselves. Like, a lot of these faculty have to live with roommates or in apartments, and also over about 60% of the survey respondents aren't even able to live within a reasonable distance from where they live. Yeah, there's one person who has to drive like 4 hours a day. I'll read it to you. So, the only place I can afford to purchase a home is 70 miles away from my campus. I spend an average of 4 hours a day in my commute. This certainly has a negative effect on my life. And 45% of professors only bring in $2,000 to $4,000 a month, which is only $24,000 to $48,000 a year. So, yeah, there's one story of this professor who has a PhD and has to eat meals with their parents and grandparents just to survive because they can't afford groceries. And okay, so just to conclude, so this widening income gap is negatively affecting their ability to do their job because they're getting ripped off during times of economic lows, and the student growth rate, they can't keep up with that. And the faculty they don't have enough money to live comfortable middle-class lives, and they can't perform their job effectively. And the survey also showed that 79% of these faculty wouldn't even recommend their students to become teachers just because of how much economic hardship and disappointment there is. This whole trend is not sustainable in any way. I mean, the faculty are the people who teach our generations to be able to grow and to develop into hardworking citizens in our world. And the fact that, and it's very unfortunate that that this whole institution is being ripped apart from the ground up. It doesn't bode well for the CSU system or anything in general. Thank you.
Oh, nice audience analysis. There you go. The proposition's pretty clearly identified, although the phrasing of it is a little complicated. And you start off by suggesting that you're going to inform or talk about this subject. It takes a while for you to actually get to the claim. And like I said, the phrasing on the claim, I think, needs to be simplified a little bit. There's a good preview. You do have 4 supporting points that you have to get through, and each of those claims is also a little long. So I think some editing would be helpful. By the way, since you went 7 minutes and 52 seconds, that's almost 2 minutes overtime. You need to do a little bit more editing. We're being a little bit flexible on this first round of speeches. When we do the debates, on the nights of the debates, we're going to be cutting people off. So you've got 7 minutes for your presentation, for instance. That's it, 7 minutes. We'll stop you right then in the middle of a sentence. So just anticipate that. I thought that you did a good job signposting in the body of the speech, so I knew where you were most of the time. You cited a variety of statistical information. I thought there was quite a bit of it in the presentation. You also came up with some good examples to illustrate the points that you're talking about. Generally, the sources are presented, although I do think that a couple of the examples need to be cited a little more clearly. Where could we find that information? Where could somebody else have located those experiences or those stories? I think it would be helpful to include that in the presentation. Like I said, I thought you did a nice job speaking to the audience. All right. At the end, you do make an argument that says there's an impact on the faculty's ability to do their job, but I didn't really get any information on that. Are they less efficient in covering students? Do they not work as hard? It was not quite clear. I think there might be some inferences that could be made from a couple of points that you raised, but you need to make those inferences instead of letting the audience plug those in. All right, thank you.